Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope and relax. It's time for Profit Review. Now, last week we discussed the November 2025 Rustor, and that means today we're here to talk about November 27th. So sit back and relax, and I'll start yapping. So, what was my initial reaction? What was my initial thoughts? Well, let me just quickly take you back to this period of time. We are 1 week away from December Force Wipe, and we're expecting the naval update to be the next week. So I look at some of these skins and I instantly notice, wow, we've got quite a lot of late picks. Very, very late picks. So, okay, it's like a sort of pseudo complete the sets. Some very interesting collection continuations. Let me put that out. Some very interesting details, some very interesting features in some of these skins. So, okay, I wasn't too upset with it. But by default, it didn't really feel like something was going to go super crazy, you know. Of course, prices are improving now. It's the end of November. We're about to roll into December. But of course, we also have to take into consideration with the next couple of Rustors. We're expecting it to only be naval-themed skins. And after that, of course, Christmas skins. So, not too bad. But if I were to just quickly point out some interesting things. Oh, look at that. Another blackout weapon skin has appeared. Now, in the past, we've seen many of these skins being accepted. And they've all pretty much, well, they've all kind of worked out very nicely. More specifically, that's another handmade LMG. That's another handmade LMG with transparency. The first instance of this happening, awesome. But would we actually see people actually appreciating this now? Because for a very long time, all I hear from people is that they hate the fact that when they use the standard handmade LMG, it uses up, it takes up too much space. You lose so much vision. But with something like that now, surely people will be happy. Surely people use the weapon more and whatnot, right? Oh, we'll discuss that. Anyway, so that was looking pretty interesting. Another Sinotype skin has appeared. A very interesting collection continuation for the Fireflies collection. Of course, you might recall it's had quite a lot of skins accepted, and it's all doing very nicely, even back then doing very nicely. But this also happens to have transparency. Some very interesting transparency. Where is it? We'll discuss. Should also point out, Sat from Hell, quite literally a product of its time. By default, you wouldn't instantly notice it, but this actually glows in the dark. During modern times, would you believe people happen to not like glow-in-the-dark weapons and clothing and armour and whatnot? They don't want to be seen at night time. Oh dear, this is selling at $3. Oh dear. Yeah. All the time I hear people moan about when there's like a glow-in-the-dark weapon and all that, and yeah, you will be seen at night time. We showed it off, we discussed this, we knew how that was going to go. It was cool to see. Again, it waited 8 years to be accepted, so it's not like it was the skin creator's fault. Back then, people liked glow-in-the-dark weapons. Now it's very competitive, so yeah. Another bit. Ooh, Tempered collection gets a bit, so that's cool. Bird of Luck collection returns with another weapon. Forge collection gets a fairly quick collection continuation. A Tortoise. That's not going to be very nice if you whack it against rocks and trees. Oh, okay. Cell collection returns. A green pair of roadside gloves. Okay, that's looking pretty sweet. Factory new of a Thompson. I can't say the tier 3 armor, I'll get in trouble. And Fault collection gets another weapon skin. So, alright, cool. But, of course, with every single Rustor, we're always considering what potentially could be the best investment for this week. Do take note, why am I wearing green? Interesting. So, of course, by default, I talked about the blackout handmade LMG. I had to. So, the very first instance that we see a transparent aim sight handmade LMG, but also it's a blackout weapon. It's a blackout skin. Guess what? People like those. So what we're going to do is just quickly hop over to here. Specifically right now, it's the end of January. It's still technically post-Christmas. The momentum is still somewhat strong. Prices are still up. And as you'll notice, the majority of these skins are doing good. More specifically, somewhat recent weapons, such as the Blackout SMG, the Python, the double barrel shotgun. If you were to go look at the majority of the skins for those weapons right now, you'll notice not all of them are doing that good. But the blackout ones, okay, they're actually doing pretty sweet. So there's always been the question of, do people actually like and appreciate and seek out to use the handmade LMG? Quite a decent amount of people telling me, well, a lot of them don't like the fact that it covers the whole screen, basically. Well, now it doesn't. Will it actually maintain that $3 price? This is a big question, so alright, fair enough. Now, looking at all the other skins, I had to talk about Sail Roadside Gloves. Had to. So, why was I wearing green in that thumbnail for the predictions video? Because, well, in the rust rotation video, I instantly showcased this with some green armor, like that right there. Some nice, affordable roadside gloves that are green. Like, what are the other options we have? Let's just quickly remind everybody that instantly I went over and showcased like the Forest Raiders, road sign gloves. Why does it not work? Some of you might sit there and say, why not click that? It's a bit broken on here at the moment because it only remembers these for some reason. Why not go to Rust Help then? All right, let's go ahead and do just that then. So here we are. If we could just scroll down, you'll see that tank armor gloves, the reasonably affordable option that we've promoted quite a lot over the past year or so. That was actually selling at about like $6 way back when. And then over to here, of course, we have the green road sign gloves, Forest Raiders. It was pretty pricey back then, still is, by the way. So, honestly, you're looking interesting. You are looking to be a very nice, approachable, affordable, budget green option for road sign gloves. So, yes, it might be dark green. Yes, the actual other skins in the set might not be super in demand. Doesn't matter. We recently saw Temple Tier 3, with that appearing like very soon after, like very, very soon after. Ooh. Well, things are looking pretty sweet then, aren't they? Yeah. So, all right. I was feeling confident with that. But also, what about, what else do we have here? Sinotype Electric, initially, let me just quickly show you this. So if I could just quickly share this with you. We're a good few hours in. I'm doing a predictions video, and I'm looking at that, and it's not really selling that much. It's looking somewhat interesting. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'll be keeping an eye on this, right? It might not be selling that much, and if it ends up being like one of the more recent Sinotype skins, where it sells only a decent amount, but then we see another Sinotype skin being accepted after it, all the recent ones were actually holding their value quite nicely, and they're actually doing pretty sweet. And I was looking at that thinking maybe that would also do the same. So, all right, cool. Then, of course, I had to talk about the Firefly's garage door. With this in particular, it has transparency on the bottom. So in the lower portion, you see right here, right? There's holes there. I did a lot of showcases, and I did some comparisons with the dungeon garage door. So let's just quickly showcase that to you. Because back then, whilst it's November time, 2025, I made a nice little showcase comparing this with the dungeon garage door. Hopefully we can still see it. Where is it? There we are. And back then, this was selling for about $4. Now, behold, this brand new garage door, that's about $3.49. So, if we could just quickly go over to here. Yeah, there we go. I can confirm to you right now, this is actually doing quite a lot better. Perhaps me showcasing it in those short videos probably got people interested to use it again. Hey, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, this has been appreciated for quite some time. We've seen a lot of garage doors being accepted over the past few years, but this was one of them that was actually doing pretty sweet. So yes, prices have been a bit funny over the past few months, but around November time, we were starting to notice improvement. And as you can see, over the course of the next 2 months, it got even better. But the point is, if that was valuable and doing a very good job retaining its price, considering that the Dungeon Collection is a collection, what could we potentially see with the Firefly's garage door? Glows in the dark, transparency in the bottom. It does have a few holes, like all around it and whatnot. So, okay, you're looking pretty interesting. You're looking pretty sweet. But $4, that might be a bit of a problem. So, it was interesting. It could be utilized in a very interesting way. But would it actually hold? Would it actually maintain? That was the question. Now, looking at all the other skins, I mean, Senior Tomato collection, a very strange collection. Every time we see a new skin being accepted, all of it just goes up in price. Because it doesn't really sell too ridiculously, and it doesn't really end up with that many listings on the Steam market. So when something new appears, instant purchases, quantity disappears, price appears to be high. So, yeah, probably not too bad of a shout. The possibility with Tier 3 here, could we see, well, I don't want to say its name, but could we see Tier 2? Could we see hoodie and pants for this? Boots and gloves, you get the idea. That sounds pretty sweet. Bed, pretty interesting. Temper collection isn't exactly like the most top performing collection, but quite a lot of people still do appreciate it. And the deplorables specifically, even back then, They were doing good. A brand new deplorable has appeared. Surely that will also do good? We'll see. So overall, things were looking pretty interesting. But of course, what did the first 24 hours of sales look like? So let's just switch back over to here. Blackout Handmade LMG had over 12,000 subscribers. Not surprised by that. Again, the first pay-to-win skin for a Handmade LMG. Sweet. With it also being a blackout skin, people were feeling confident with it. So, okay. Totally fine by me. But then I look over to here. Sinotype Electric, well then. Again, the lowest selling Sinotype skin we've ever seen. Firefly's Garage Door, perhaps with its high price it didn't sell too ridiculously, but it's still selling quite a decent amount. 8,000 subscribers almost. That's still good. But it gets like a bit of a strong drop off, so now we're down to 5,000-ish subscribers for the Senor Tomato Furnace. Not too surprised to see the Sap from Hell only has about 5,000 subscribers. Oh, Sell Road Sign Gloves. Just barely over 3,000 subscribers, so it's looking pretty interesting. Yeah. Remember, it was the second thing I wanted to talk about in my predictions video. So, okay. Things aren't looking that bad, honestly. If we do see some more collection continuations for some of these skins in the future, I think they're going to greatly appreciate it, because it honestly did not look like people were like buying these out that much. So let's of course now discuss the abnormal barders. It is now December 4, 2025. We are expecting the naval update, right? No, we're not. Unfortunately, it got announced that Face Punch felt the need to delay it for an extra couple months. At the end of the day, I'm sure a lot of us would rather have a complete functional game rather than it, be completely broken around Christmas time, New Year's Day. Ugh. So, yeah, it got delayed. So that was unfortunate. But what on earth would we see at the next Rustors? No, I don't think anybody had a clue, even Face Punch, because, yeah, seems like that was like a last-minute, decision. We'll talk more about that in a bit, don't you worry. So, okay, Abnormals time. Let's switch over to here. Let's talk about what we see. So, on the night that we do the Abnormals, Blackout Handmade LMG has over 30,000 subscribers. Not surprised by that, and yet still, I feel reasonably confident with it. I know I want to do a high buy order. I'll discuss that in a second. But oh my, Sinotype Electric, less than 20,000 subscribers. I think that's the first instance of that happening, yeah. Even the first one still had over 30,000 subscribers. Perhaps people don't care enough about electrics and electricals. Oh, fair enough. Firefly's Garage Door still managed to sell a very decent amount. Just about, well, almost 17,700. Yep, not looking too bad there. Furnace also sold quite a decent amount, almost 14,000. And there's quite a bit of a drop off with the Sap from Hell. Just barely over 10,000 subscribers. Tempered Bed, only 9,500. Bird of Luck L96, 9,300. You've got the Forge Sheet Matador, almost 8,700. About 8,500 for the Fashion New Thompson. The Tier 3 armor, it's like 7,000 to 8,000. Sell Road Sign Gloves, you weren't selling that much initially, and even right now, as I look at you, you only had about 7,700 subscribers. Tortoise Rock, which surprisingly was not abnormal, but priced at $2.49. That only had about 7,000 subscribers, and the Full Custom SMG, $2.49. Oh, only just about 5,000 subscribers. So, what prices did we suggest for the Abnormals? Blackout Handmade LMG. Said it too quickly. Blackout Handmade LMG. I suggested $2 to $2.50. I was aware that we were about to see some Twitch drops. We're going to see 3 Handmade LMG Twitch drops, but none of them had a transparent aim sight. So yeah, still, that's probably going to be the go-to option. That right there, as time goes on, I was very much under the impression, sure, it might suffer a bit at some point in the future, but all those other weapons, all those other skins from notable weapons that just don't really get like valuable skins and whatnot, they still worked out quite alright. So I thought, honestly, Blackout Handmade LMG might be a bit of a nice, like a nice sort of slow burn, maybe. Nice little slow rise as time goes on. I was feeling reasonably confident with it. And we'll see how that turns out. Sinotype Electric, I went with my standard $1.70 to $2.20 buy order. Such a low quantity, but could it actually, like, could actually work out very nicely, simply due to the fact that it does, didn't sell that much, but still part of a large storage collection where quite a lot of those other skins comfortably did over 30,000 subscribers. We'll see. Firefly's Garage Door. At $4, I was questioning what on earth could potentially happen next. I made some short videos, I did some nice comparisons, and I pointed out that that can be utilised in a nice way, and also at night time, it still glows, it still looks nice. It's a cool looking garage door. Well, after a lot of discussion, we decided that we're going to do between $2 to $3. That's a bit broad, yeah. Again, if it was pretty obvious, immediately there'll be some problems. We could easily just quickly remove the $3 barter and keep the $2 barter. Or if you only ever did one, just play it safe. Maybe go about in between. So yes, 17,700 subscribers is quite a lot. Who knows what we'll see in the future. Senior Tomato Furnace. Oh, no, you're not abnormal. Whoops. Okay. Sap from Hell again. Glow in the dark weapon. The whole thing glows. A $3 skin. Oh dear. 80 cents to $1.20. Tempered bed, perfectly fine looking design, but we expected a lot more beds. Also, that tempered bed was $3 a piece. $3. I said $1 to $1.50. Sheet Matador, the Ford Sheet Matador, looked all right, but I said 50 cents. With some Twitch drops on the horizon, some very nice looking Sheet Matadors being given away for absolutely free, I wasn't feeling confident with it. Factory New Thompson, perfectly fine looking design, $3, but I also didn't really trust it, and I only said 80 cents to $1.20. The Tier 3 armor, I thought both the pieces would probably suffer as time goes on. The Skin Creator, he has a lot of collections and he juggles a lot. So I was looking at it and thinking, you know what? We probably won't see Tier 2, we probably won't see Hoodie and Pants maybe until March time. Considering its theme, maybe around Easter time might be a little bit more smarter. Right then, so then of course we also happen to have the full SMG, but custom SMGs, they're not appreciated. The full collection, which only consists of weapons, not appreciated. I sat there and said, 60 cents to 80 cents. Wasn't feeling confident. And then we have the regular skins. So these skins only became marketable when the Rust rotated the next day. Senior Tomato Furnace, looked at you, $1.49. You did sell quite a decent amount. Senior Tomato skins have somehow just managed to succeed. I went with 70 cents to 90 cents. Bird of Luck L96, considering all the L96s we had just seen. It's still November. It was the focused item of the month. Maybe we'll still see some more at some point in December. But yeah, I don't think people were like itching for that. So yeah, 60 cents to 80 cents. Cell Rotan gloves, 99 cents each. I looked at it. I thought about it. I knew I was going to buy some. But I said 80 cents to 90 cents for a barter. I honestly thought that sold far too little, and people looking to try and build up a nice budget green camouflage set would be appreciating that. So, all right, cool. Tortoise Rock, $2.49. I didn't really feel confident with it. Again, with all the rocks we saw in 2025, the animal themes, the silly faces, you don't even see his face. That's the annoying thing. So I looked at it, questioned it, and thought, you know what? $1 to $1.50. So that's a wrap and all of that. What was the outcomes? Let's go ahead and discuss. So first things first, I should address I bought 10 of these, and of course I bought 30 of these. I only bought 10 Blackout Handmade MGs because it did kind of look a little bit iffy. Of course, over the course of just one night, it got like a good few thousand subscribers. Yes, that happened. But the Cell Rotan gloves, honestly, I was not expecting that much more green stuff to ever be accepted. Yeah, it's a very dark green, but it still would work. So I jumped on that, and I was happy. So let's go ahead and talk about all the skins now. And of course, you can look at the Blackout Handmade NMG. It's retaining most of its value, but it is down in price. So let's go ahead and get a look at you, because right now, you have 247 listings. But also, let's just talk about post-Christmas, okay? So this did go in the positive. For a while, this was doing perfectly fine. And then other people appearing. Well, there you go. So let's just quickly point this out that yes, it was a fairly decent price around just the very end of December. Comfortably over $3. But since then, it's been trending downwards. But now it's also perking back up again. Are we getting like a second wind as we get closer and closer to the naval update? Not sure. But this right here, unfortunately, it has slipped. Now, if you bought these, I still would be like crying about it. I wouldn't be upset about what I'm looking at here. Again, further down the line, again, maybe around summer, yep, the summertime of 2026, I won't be surprised if that does recover and potentially goes up in price a fair bit more. But over the course of the next several weeks, as we go through March and April, I really wouldn't be surprised if it drops down to about $2.50, maybe even slightly above $2. I'm not upset with my buy orders because I actually managed to pick up quite a lot more of these, especially the $2.50 bar order, of course. So yeah, I'll just hold on to them. I'll wait it out. I know that this will work out eventually. So feel free to comment below. Did you buy a bunch of these? Are you happy with how it turned out? So alright, that's not too bad. But what about the Firefly's garage door? So obviously it did manage to surpass the Sinotype Electric after a good several hours later. No, actually the rush door rotated at a fairly later time, so it was a good almost full day. But anyway, if I could just quickly skip ahead to the next rush door, because that was nice, that was cool, that was interesting. A lovely looking green garage door, and then we scroll over to here, and another one got accepted with transparency in the bottom corners. What? Yep. So that happened. So yeah, that immediately had a very rough start. But for a while, it was retaining its value very nicely. Now at the moment, it has tripped. It has fallen. And it is a bit of a problem, I guess you could say. But, honestly, that's actually still doing very nice. And yeah, it very likely will be dipping a little bit more as we go through March and April. But I honestly think as time goes on, this will actually slowly start to rise up in price. You take one quick look at this Fireflies collection, and honestly, that is to be expected that this will rise up to something like this. And I think people won't be too upset with that. Then again, you did start at $4. Might take some time to really get some good traction going, some nice rises in price. But yeah, honestly, I can imagine a lot of people are appreciating it. But if we do, keep seeing more and more garage doors with transparency in the bottom being accepted, okay, yeah, that will lead to problems. But for now, it's not too bad. Keep an eye on it. If anything, question a nice decent bargain in it perhaps as well. It's up to you. Give it a good look around March and April. Maybe it might not be too bad a thing to consider, actually jumping in and, try and invest into. We'll see. Sinotype Electric, if I could just quickly take a look at all the other Sinotype skins, let's remind ourselves. First of all, this doesn't keep it in the right order, so let's just go over to here. If you look at things on SMM, it shows it in order of acceptance, so like most recent to oldest. And wow, look at that. One of the new ones has actually got down in price. Not this one though. Wow. So it's up by a quarter, holding up quite nicely, not looking too bad, but also was at a higher price a good few weeks ago. I do believe it was, and as you can see it was. So this was actually pushing over $4 at one point. What gives? What's wrong? It's people worrying about the boxes DLC. All the skins are starting to slowly go down in price because people are actually trying to panic. People are panic selling, and they're trying to best to get the sales in and whatnot. It's unfortunate, but that has basically happened all of this post Christmas. And I tell you this: if we find out that boxes DLC are small boxes, I might cry because I did a very good effort in trying to get some sales in with the ones I own. Sinotype's Graffiti collection, the actual Neon Storage collection. I worry, but if it is an actual large box collection, okay, that was justified. And Sinotype very likely will be going down in price. We don't know how much this box's DLC is going to be, but I'm a little bit worried. Yes, I am. Right, cool. So, understood. All good. Senor Tomato Furnace. Again, you are a funny one. We'll take a quick look over to you. So, over to here. And, yeah. Sitting there, slightly below its Rusto price, ever so slightly. Only 28 listed. 18 have sold in the past 24 hours. It's not that bad. But, now, what the actual price is. So, with the recent sales, it looks like people just selling directly to the highest buy order. And as you'll see over here, it did go down a fair bit initially, and it did rise up ever so nicely as well. Senor Tomato is a very odd collection. But are you a Senor Tomato enjoyer? Stand up, talk, comment below. But yes, you're doing fine. It's just, you're not profitable, and we kind of need some profit. Unfortunately, we are expecting prices to be dropping off from here and now, and I don't think that's going to get any better. So, By all means, if you did manage to sell this and flip it for some profit, brag, comment below. But it doesn't look like that window of opportunity was very long, so a bit unfortunate perhaps. Looks like it was only like a fairly decent price of around $2 for just a decent week or so. Well, summertime, yeah. Because of course, you might have noticed somewhat recently we have seen more Senior Tomato skins being accepted. Well, produced at the very least as well. We got the AK accepted. I have seen the Thompson, and maybe we've got a lot more on the horizon. But then again, Valentine's is on the way, Lunar New Year is on the way. You could make a love heart out of a tomato, right? Maybe. It's up to the skin creator, but hey, that's actually doing a pretty decent job pretending its price, so props to that. But as expected, sat from hell, yeah, we thought you were going to go down a price. Lo and behold, you went down a price. Now, I suggested, let's just quickly confirm, when I looked at you, I thought, yep, you're going to go down a price. Sat from hell, I said 80 cents to $1.20. How low did you go? Because, well, that's almost double the price I suggested. Well, I can confirm to you, it did drop off, and at one point it was selling for about $1.50. So, sales of around $1.50 happened. It did perk up. Around the first to the second week of January, it actually managed to get close to about $2.50. And right now, as you'll see, it's basically about $2. So, in regards to the price suggestion, honestly, I'm not too upset with it. I did manage to, buy order a decent amount of them. Not tons, but a decent amount. And as we go through, March and April, I won't be surprised if it dips again, and I'll be picking up a lot more again. So, yeah, I'm not upset with that. Again, glow-in-the-dark sap, kind of not helpful, more specifically at night time. During the day, it's no issue, it's no problem, and it is part of the well-established From Hell collection. It's just, take a look at all these weapons and tools yourself. Does it look like everything's A-okay? In some ways, sort of, yeah. So, yeah, I was just being a little bit smarter about it, and yeah, I just stuck with the barter. Tempered bed, well, honestly, I thought you were going to suffer. With the beds that have been accepted before you, and many more beds to be expected afterwards, I thought you were going to get lost in the shuffle, but didn't sell too much, too ridiculously. Right now, we only have 16 listings with 9 sales in the past 24 hours. 9 sales doesn't really sell. It doesn't sound like it's super in demand, does it? No. But as you'll see over here, it has been a higher price. So a good week or so ago, 2 weeks, this was selling for over $3. Right now, it's still selling for over $3. Interesting. Hang on a minute. So it's listed at $3, but the actual sales, it's people selling to the highest buy order. Okay. So, okay. You're still selling below. Yeah, okay. You can say okay again? Yeah, I might. That sold for $3. It's in the positive, but even then, it's still not profitable. And even then, the sales are basically only happening to the highest buy orders right here. Oh. Well then, maybe you might recover in the future. Maybe you actually might rise up in price a fair bit. Here's hoping, I guess. But my suggested price, $1 to $1.50, I didn't actually manage to get any. Can't end up at around $2 at its worst. Well, I think it's going to go back there again, but we'll see if it dips any further. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I wasn't very successful there. Right, let's just close that. Bird of Luck L96, considering all the recent L96s literally just before it, with all of them down in price real bad, I just had no expectations with that. And yeah, 60 cents to 80 cents was perfectly fine, because that's sitting here literally at about $1. Like literally on the cusp of $1. 98 cents. So yeah, didn't really work out very nicely. It's unfortunate, but it was expected. Keep an eye out. I'm sure we'll see a lot more Bird of Luck skins being accepted here and there. It's a nice looking collection. Unfortunately, it only consists of weapons and tools. The skin creator did try to change it into something else with some deplorables. Face Punch just didn't want it. Forge Sheet Matador. I didn't make too much of a fuss about it because, well, look at it. Yeah, both of them are down. We have seen quite a lot of instances of that over the past year, where a Gadge door appears and a Sheet Matador appears second, and it just suffers. But we should point out, like you've got like Nuke Vibe that did get some weapon skins accepted afterwards, but still went down in price. So, will we ever see the Sheet Matador? We shall see, but I don't think that's going to salvage that. I said, only 50 cents? Well, I can't confirm to you. In terms of did it actually manage to actually sell for around that price? No. It's actually done it's had a pretty decent, done a decent job retaining its price. It's managed to stay above $1. it managed to retain a decent amount of its price, but still it went down in price. So just to confirm, sold at $2.49, and it's had a lot of sales around $1. That has not had a very nice outcome. But again, we kind of expected it. We played it safe. We didn't get screwed over. Fracture New Thompson, I said 80 cents to $1.20. I didn't fully trust it. Thompsons haven't been as reliable as they used to be. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at you, because I do notice your lowest listing right now is only $1.80. Yeah, it's around $1.80. But what about your sales? Where are your sales? So it looks as if the lowest sale was literally $1. And if I look at these, they're all around like $1.30, $1.20. Interesting. So, yeah, it doesn't look like these are getting bought. It looks like people are selling to these people. So, not exactly looking very strong. Not really. Was I correct with my suggested price there? Looks like I was. Have I picked up some myself? I did. But it was only like 7 of them. I sold quite a lot. I sold quite a lot. Yes, I did. So, yeah, not too bad, I guess you could say. Keep an eye on it. It very likely will be dropping down in price even further over the course of the next several weeks. Right then, Tier 3 armour. I anticipated that we were likely going to have some issues with a lack of collection continuations. That's exactly what happened. Sort of. We did get a crossbow made, and it was accepted. Interesting. Alright, cool. Would have preferred the clothing and the armour, but this also fuels my thoughts that maybe the skin creator is actually preparing for around Easter. Technically speaking, I guess they could submit the Tier 2 armour or the hoodie and pants for Easter. Maybe, we'll see. But yeah, it did go down in price, but we were prepared for that. I said that, I'm going to offer 70 cents to $1. Lo and behold, it's basically sitting around $1. So you very likely have picked up a bunch of them. Now we play the waiting game, anticipating Tier 2, hoodie and pants, the other core pieces. Even boots and gloves would be nice. Do you believe we can dress up as a gigantic cockerel? We'll see. So, yeah, my expectations appear to be somewhat correct there. Should quickly just clarify, this is only 93 cents, so, yeah. I did pick up 30 of these and 30 of these, 50 cents cheaper than what they sold for in the Rust store. I'm not upset with that. I look forward to the possibility of seeing some more of this collection. Right, so then we have the Cell Road Sign gloves. I've got to be honest with you, I'm very happy with how it's turned out. It hasn't gone up in price ridiculously, but it did very comfortably, very nicely rise up ever so. So as you look at the barders, you'll notice it does go over $1 now, comfortably over $1. And yeah, it doesn't look like it'll be going below $1 anytime soon. It looks like this is being appreciated, and with the fact that it didn't sell that much, even better. But this is going to be a slow process. This is going to be like slow gains throughout 1 year, slow gains the second year, slow gains the third year. But I do believe eventually it'll probably be up to like $3 and above. Depends if we see anything to compete with it. I wonder what happens with tank armor gloves. To be honest with you, with that being a more lighter pigment, I get the feeling that it'll still be appreciated more. But then again, it is $6. So we'll see what becomes of that, but I'm happy to see the progress. Let's hope it improves even nicer as we reach around the summertime. We shall see. So, yep, you're looking pretty good. I like that. Tortoise Rock, again, with the amount of rock skins we saw in 2025, again, with the variety of silly faces, animals, you get the idea. I didn't think that was going to stand out very nicely. Didn't glow in the dark. You don't even see the face of the tortoise. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So I suggested only offering, what, $1 to $1.50? I can't confirm to you. It looks like that was probably a nice sweet spot. But chances are, if you offered $1.50, you very likely have already bought a bunch of them. Now, is that a good thing? Debatable. Yeah. So anyway, let's just quickly look. Seems it had a pretty decent price not too long ago, about a week or two ago. But initially, it was selling at a higher price. It's basically in a slow downward trend. So, yeah, it's not looking good, is it? No. But was it expected? Yes. Have you picked up any yourself? I think I only did one barter in that one, so I don't believe I've even picked up a single one. I guess I could look over to here. Does my head pop up? No, it does not. So, yeah, I think I only did one barter in it. And then, of course, we have the Fault Custom SMG. By default, custom SMGs, they are not in demand, as you'll notice, except that one. But yeah, everything else not looking pretty. And then, of course, the Fault Collection, it only consists of weapons, and, well, look at that. So back then, I saw the exact same thing. wasn't feeling very confident. I approached it smartly, and well, as you'll notice, it has halved in price. I suggested 60 cents to 80 cents. I didn't want to go anywhere near its actual price. And as you'll see, highest bidder right now is 93 cents, and the lowest listing is $1.30. But what are the actual sales? I can confirm to you, you've got a decent amount of these biders below, like here and below. Custom SMGs, they just, yeah, they don't seem to be appreciated. And I could see that. So, yep, you sold next to nothing, but still, even then, the demand is just simply not there. So it might do a decent job retaining at least like a decent portion of its value, but don't expect it to be like improving anytime soon. Maybe the full collection could dabble into clothing and armor, maybe some deplorables, we shall see. That's up to the skin creators, and at the moment, it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that anytime soon. Right then, well, honestly, I think I approached this perfectly fine. We are expecting prices to be a lot worse over the course of the next several weeks. But for now, with the price suggestions, I think I've got the majority of these nicely set. They worked out nicely. Again, feel free to comment below. Did you actually buy anything from this Rust store? Did you actually manage to get any profit and whatnot? Feel free to comment below. But yeah, wasn't too bad. But it's the next Rust store that kind of took the wind out of our sails. Anyway, so basically, it was supposed to be the naval update. We were supposed to have naval theme skins. Face Punch turned around and did like a brand new complete the sets again. So complete the sets here and complete the sets here. Lots of very interesting collection continuations. Lots of very, very interesting skins. So yeah, that happened. And suddenly everybody wants to go ahead and buy like the Neon Storage Small Cards box, the Heat Seeker Sap, another Green Garage door. This also has transparency though right here. And it also didn't glow in the dark. As you might notice, that seems to be appreciated more compared to the other one. But then again, that's sold at $2.49. So, yeah. But yes, the first ever Snow Jacket skin to be accepted in a very, very long time. More specifically, marketable. The last marketable skin to be accepted was back in 2017. Lo and behold, about 8 years later, here we have another one. But is it going to end up like the L96? We see skin after skin after skin after skin being accepted, leading to issues and issues and issues and issues. That's a discussion for next week. So, all right, that's a nice little preview for next week. Sorry if I was a bit stumbly. I had a little nap earlier, so I'm a little bit drowsy still, but I think I managed to get through that perfectly fine. Keep an eye out. I should also have a very special video where I go through every single purchase I made throughout all of 2025. I do believe this very video, what you're watching right now, should be the Tuesday video, so consider looking at the Monday one, the video just before this. It is quite long, but look in the chapters, you'll see basically everything I discussed which I bought, and you might be interested to see how everything turned out. You might be interested to find out whether I made a stupid mistake or a perfectly fine, lovely investment. It's for your consideration. And so that, thank you very much for watching the video. Catch you later. See you. Goodbye.